Hey everybody, it's Chris Guns. Welcome to PBI Radio. And in this segment, I'm going to be joined by IBF Ladies Flyweight Champion Ava Knight. And I'm excited about that, as you could imagine. You know, I could sit here and tell you all about Ava Knight, but then I figured, why not just have Ava come on and tell you about it herself? So without any further ado, let's get Ava Knight on the line. Ava Knight, thanks for being here. I want to say that I might be your biggest fan. Where were you born, Ava? Where was baby Ava born?
I was born in Chico, California. It's this little nowhere town in Northern California.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like growing up there?
Chico was a big party town. It was more so when I was younger. And, you know, it really wasn't too bad growing up. You know, I had both parents. I didn't really have nothing to do. I just went to school, was a good student, but I ended up going to Boston when I was 13 just because there was nothing else to do. If you weren't partying, then, you know, you were studying. So I just found some way to spend my time.
Oh yeah, so you came to Boston, right in my neck of the woods. How'd you like Boston?
Say it again?
I said, did you say you came to Boston? Is that what you said?
Boxing.
Oh, boxing.
Yeah.
So who got you interested in boxing?
You know, it was just sort of just walking into the gym sort of thing. I walked in with a friend because her parents' friend, you know, owned the gym. So, you know, I had never even watched a boxing match and never been interested in it. So it was really new to me when I walked in and got to learning it, you know. But later on, I found out that my dad used to box, so he started coming in and working with me, and it just, you know, became a lifestyle.
How weird that is.
Yeah.
Must be something in the genes. So, what was it like growing up? Did you have brothers or sisters or anything?
I have two older sisters. You know, I really wasn't picked on. I was a crybaby.
Yeah, so you weren't even a tomboy.
It was just normal life, you know. It wasn't too bad. I don't have all these, you know, struggles and hardships like, you know, most people did growing up.
Yeah. Were you more into sports than Barbie dolls growing up?
Then what?
Were you more into sports than Barbie dolls?
Yeah, I was a tomboy. You know, I like to play basketball and play in the dirt. And, you know, I wasn't into the whole doll thing. I remember my parents put me in ballet, and they put my sister into karate. I was wondering why they didn't put me in karate, but I don't know. I guess that's just what they wanted.
I guess they knew. They knew something. Were you good at boxing right away?
You know, I'm not sure if I was real good at it right away, but I picked it up real fast, and I learned fast. And just I was so eager to learn, it was easy to pick up what people were teaching me.
Mm-hmm. And were there a lot of girls boxing there?
It was just like me and my friend. We were the only girls, and I remember guys coming in telling me that I wasn't going to make it, I was a girl, I can't fight, and, you know, look at me now.
Yeah. Look at you now. And what made you think you could? What made you think you could get it and make it into boxing? You could get into it and be as good as you got.
I didn't. You know, when I was young, I didn't really think it was going to get this far because I didn't really. You know, I never watched boxing, so I never knew where it was going to take me. So, you know, getting into the ring with my friend, she knocked me down. You know, she's the only woman to ever knock me down in my lifetime. So I'm going to keep it that way. But ever since I got knocked down, I was just like, wow, this is fun. Like, there's just no other feeling like getting into the ring with someone in front of you. Like, it's me or it's her. So, you know, I got to work hard to make sure that I'm not the one going down again.
Yeah. So you would be sparring a lot of guys in the gym right away?
Yeah. Most of the time I'm sparring guys. You know, every once in a while, girls will come in. We have a good sparring partner coming in from, you know, California around here now, but she's a lot heavier. She's about 135. But, you know, it's just, the guys, it's just what it is. It's a man's sport, so, you know, that's what I'm around all day, so that's what I end up getting in the ring with, practice.
Yeah. Now, beauty's important to almost all girls. Boxing didn't ruin it for you yet, Ava, I gotta say, but it ain't over yet. Do you ever worry about a headbutt or an elbow possibly taking that wonderful gift that God gave you, and your mom and dad too, by the way? Do you ever worry about getting your face cut or something?
I never, I always thought I was ugly, and when I went into boxing, I never really thought the whole pretty thing was there. So I guess I still have it in my mind. So people are like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're too pretty to box." I'm just like, "What are they talking about?" So I don't really go into my thinking, "Oh, my face," but no, I do care about it now. I make sure it's all upkept. But when I'm fighting, it's not about that. It's just about winning.
Yeah, sounds like a warrior. How many amateur fights did you have?
I had 34. I was 28 wins and 4 losses. And one of those losses I got to avenge, but the other 3 I didn't have a chance because they were either in a different state or a different area, and it just wasn't possible.
Mm-hmm. And what made you decide to turn pro when you did?
It was just I couldn't find amateur fights. It was just getting really hard, especially at the weight that I was at. And then I was fighting at 110, and it just got so hard. I even fought girls up at 122, and it just was too much for me to try and fight these girls that were too heavy. So I decided, well, I'm just going to turn pro, and I thought it was going to be easier. But at first, it took about a year to get my first professional fight. So it was a little struggle at first, just going from being amateur, not fighting fights, being pro, not fighting fights. But eventually it picked up, once people heard my name, they wanted to bring me in as an opponent, which, was what I was used to at first. And it just went from there.
Now, here's a little question I like to ask all my guests. Do you remember who your first opponent was and where it was and what the result was?
Amateur or professional?
Professional, when you turned pro.
Yeah, I remember everything. It was a girl. She was coming down in weight, and I was actually going up to fight her. And she was a little more experienced. Had a good amateur career, and I also remember she was deaf. I think she was. I don't know if she was full deaf or half deaf, but she was deaf. I remember going into that fight, I was getting ready, and that was, I think, the first fight I've ever been in where I wasn't nervous. I think it was just because I didn't know what to expect, and I was just real excited, and I wanted to get in there. So, yeah, I remember that day like it was yesterday.
And how'd you feel winning your first fight as a pro?
Wait, what?
How'd you feel winning your first fight as a pro?
It felt real good. It almost was as good as amateur. I was thinking, when am I going to get my trophy? But it feels good to win, whether it was pro or amateur. It's none other feeling, even sparring. When when you get in the ring and you just beat someone up or you got the better of them, it just feels good.
Yeah, it does. It does feel good. And you won your first 2 fights, and then you got your first blemish on your record. You have a draw with Jody Esquivel.
Esquivel. Anybody who saw that fight would say that I won. Both the first 2 draws that I had an interview with someone, I think, from Connecticut yesterday or somewhere around there, and he said he attended both those fights. And he said, I don't know how you lost. You got a draw. I said, well, I don't know either. I just learned from them. I just learned that I got to get in there and improve. No more taking rounds off. I used to fight off too slow, and that was the problem.
Yeah, you came back almost a month to the day, and you get a W. Then you're 3-0 with a draw, and you learn that you're fighting Elena Reed. She's 19-4-5. And what was it like when you hear you're gonna fight Elena Reed? She's a veteran with all those fights. You nervous?
I remember walking into the gym. It was 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks before the date, and we got a call. They're like, "How you feel about fighting Elena Reed?" And I had looked her up. I think we had seen a fight, and I saw her record, but I was like, "I'll do it." I was like, "That's cool. Let's work for it." So they called them back, and we said yes, and we just started training real hard. We started training for a lefty, and it probably was the biggest step up, you know, in my career to fight Elena Reed, because she was the world champion, and I did really good. I thought I won the fight. You know, after the fight, it was over, they booed the decision, and I walked out, and they cheered for me. So, you know, it was a good learning experience, and it was just great to get in the ring with someone with so much experience and do that well.
Yeah, you had another draw, and Elena Reed, was that her 6th draw? Why is there so many draws in female boxing? Do you know why, Ava? Why is there so many draws?
Maybe they don't want to see the girls pout. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be it. I was thinking that. How do you feel knowing that you could hang with someone like Elena Reed, though?
It felt really good. You know, I was like, wow, I'm hanging in there with the world champ. You know, and this is my fifth fight. So it just blew me away. So I just knew how much more potential I could get getting up there with better fighters.
Mm-hmm. Then you come back and you get back in the win column and you fight Kalisha West. She's 10-0. What do you remember about Kalisha that night and that fight?
I remember that fight being, I was the underdog, and I remember everybody had it in for me. They wanted me to lose. I could just tell, you know, even my coach could tell, they just wanted to give her the title. And that's just how I felt with everyone's attitude. But, you know, I think she's the best technical fighter I've been in the ring with. You know, even today we fought twice, but that fight was a good fight. I think everybody who was there, we got a standing ovation. We put on a good show. I just got the better of her that night. You know, it was a close fight. We're both really good. She has the edge because she's a little bigger than me. But, you know, I came through winning that night. It just felt good to win the first. You know, it was the North American title, but it was the title, so it felt good.
Yeah. How did it feel winning your first title? Did you put it down all night, or did you just hold the belt all night long?
You know, the one thing about me is I'm not too emotional about, you know, I'm just excited to win. You know, winning the belt was just, you know, bread and butter, you know, but my dad was so excited. My dad slept with the belt. not me. I just kind of was like, okay, well, hopefully this brings more fights to me, but it didn't. Mm-hmm. But, you know, my dad was more excited about it, and he rode around town with the belt, video. He was all excited.
So you got more enjoyment just taking her O away, taking that 0.
Yeah.
Then your next fight, you fight 9 months later. That was the longest layoff of your career at that point. You fight Ana Maria Torres. It's for the WBC Super Flyweight Championship. Did you feel rusty going in that fight?
I went into the fight, you know, I had that layoff because I had an injury. But when we got the call for that, I just felt like I couldn't let that go. But, you know, I don't say it was a mistake to fight like that. But even though I felt like I lost to the best. You know, when you lose against Mayweather, I mean, is that the worst that can happen? I mean, you're like, Ana Maria Torres, she's not the Mayweather of women, but, you know, she has a lot of respect. She's top dog in the weight class, and she's been champion for years, I think 5 years now. So, but I learned a lot from fighting her, you know, about the experience, about being treated bad and being the underdog, and then treating you like that and not giving you the respect. And I just took in a lot of that information, and I know the next time I fight, people are treating me bad, I just can't let that get to me in the fight.
Yeah. How nervous were you before that fight?
I wasn't so much nervous. They told me to get out there and warm up, you know, because they were going to take us into the ring. But then they put 2 fights in front of us. And I just couldn't understand why they would tell me to go warm up and sit out there for 2 more fights, you know, 2 6-round man fights. And I just got really upset, and I think that was one of the reasons why I didn't perform like I wanted to. You know, and it was just one thing after another the whole time we were in Mexico that time.
Yeah, and when you leave the ring and you're just thinking to yourself, how do you feel with a loss on your record, losing that O there? How'd you feel losing?
I felt bad. You know, I didn't care so much about me. I just felt like I let everybody down around me. And I think that's the worst feeling of all. You know, me losing wasn't a big deal, but having so many people go there and believe in me and go to see me, it was hard for me to take that in and know that I let them down.
Mm-hmm. And you were out for a while. What were you doing all that time? Were you healing the injury up? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. I got 2 shots in my back. You know, I was trying to heal it up and see how I would recover from it because I didn't want to fight it hurt.
Mm-hmm. Now, how'd you get injured in the first place? You want to talk about that?
You know, it was a recurring injury. I actually got it as an amateur and got rid of it. And then, you know, we had some really intense training, and we were pushing some cars. Mm-hmm. And it was my lower back, and my disc just moved. And it just was so painful. I couldn't walk that day. I went into the doctor. Since I was fighting, I couldn't get my epidurals before then. So it was just one thing after another with the pain in the back. And so afterwards, I went and got the shot, healed it up. You know, it's still there today. I still get a little bit of pain, but it's just more like a pinch than it is, you know, like it was.
Yeah. So no more moving cars for you.
Yeah. No push a car.
Now, did you know you were going to come back, or did you think maybe you were out and retired? Did you know you'd be back?
I couldn't retire. Even if I was in there, if I had to get in there with anybody, I would have still got back in the ring. You know, it might have taken me a year or 2 if I had to, but boxing has always been in my heart ever since I started. Like, I've had trouble in life, you know, boyfriends, parents, my sisters. I've had trouble with everything, but my coaches and my team have always been there for me. So when I'm in the ring and I'm in the gym, it's like I stay at home. I feel so comfortable and I feel so much better. I couldn't let it go.
Yeah, that's boxing family. What changes did you make? After that loss? Did you make any changes in your preparations?
Yeah, I ended up moving and changing coaches. My coach back home had to close up the gym. You know, they went bankrupt, and one coach moved to Texas, and his father, the one I started working with, he was just getting, he was at that point where he needed to retire. He was just getting older and having a hard time. So, and he needed to get surgery on his knee, and just one thing after another for him, and it was just time. And I had a lot of personal problems at the time too, so I was still boxing and moving around and sparring places, and I just ended up coming across my coach right now, Ben Batista, and he's like, you know, you can come down and we'll get you a job, and, you know, you can find you a place and we'll take care of you, and that's exactly what he did. He took real good care of me in the gym, brought me in like family, and that's just how it's been since I've been here. You know, we're all family. They take care of me, and I take care of them when I can, and it's just good, you know.
Yeah, sometimes change is good, and sometimes it's needed. Like Kelly Pavlik today, we see it. You know, you need to change sometimes. So you found a nice fit, and you come back and you score a first-round stoppage. You face Kalisha West for the second time. This time it was a split decision draw. What do you think about that second fight with Kalisha, and what was different?
I think it was a good fight again. We have become friends. I think that might have been one thing that might have come between us a little bit. Not so much as we didn't perform well. You know, we were still hitting each other with all we had, and it was still a great fight. But maybe unconsciously we were holding back. But it was a good fight. It was really close. There were rounds she won, rounds that I came forward and I won. You know, and it ended up a draw. You know, I thought I could have won that fight, but I'm not arguing with the draw. But everything happens for a reason. You know, that fight was at 118, and me fighting at 118 is really too big because I walk around at 117. So it was just, you know, blessing in disguise, because then right after that I get to fight at 112, my natural weight. You know, I don't have to stuff down too hard, and it's easy. And the girls there, you know, they're more my size. They're not my strength, but they're more my size. And it just, you know, I felt like that's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, and that was for the WBO championship, so that was 2 attempts at a championship. Do you feel like it's becoming an elusive dream at that point? 2 times you fought for the championship?
No, never. You know, they were all in two different weight classes, 2 weight classes bigger than I was supposed to be. So I never quit trying. Even if I was going to keep losing and being an opponent, I'll still be there because no matter what, I was still hanging up there with the best, you know, the top of the weight classes. So either way, I was still hanging in there.
It just sucks to have to wait for that next time, you know, you get the attempt. But
yeah.
But then you went to Mexico, and how'd they treat you in Mexico? How's women's boxing treated there?
They treated me good there that time. You know, it was for the main event, you know, and they wanted to treat me good. The promoter was real nice about it. You know, of course they wanted their champion to win, but they still treated me really good this time, and I was really surprised and happy about it. Everything came out how we wanted, and it was good.
So that was against Arely Muchino. Not a tough fight? Not too tough?
You know, it was just, I remember getting in that fight being real confident. You know, ever since I've been here, I just picking up my confidence with my power and my, you know, my skills. I'm not all the way there as a boxer like I want to be, but I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting there. And I walked into the fight knowing what we had to do to win that title. And my coach, we had the plan. We worked on it. We worked hard. So moving around the ring, and it just was comfortable for me. So I knew it was going to come sooner or later.
Yeah, and finally you did win that championship. How does it feel winning the IBF flyweight championship? That's big. How's that feel?
It was great. You know, just like the first time I won a belt, like, you know, I took it home and my dad was the one carrying it around everywhere. But you know, I was just more proud of what I had done. You know, not what I had won.
Yeah, world champion though, huge, big stuff. Then you fought again in Mexico in your next fight. You defended against Hong Fator Buamas. What was that one like?
She was tough. I was really surprised she took a lot of punches. There were rounds in there where she was hurt. She just would not go down, and I just gave her a lot of credit. She was really tough, and she hung in there, and she fought well. But, you know, it was a one-sided fight. And, you know, I had a lot going into the last round. My coach told me, you need to take her out. Let's just take her out. And, you know, unlike most boxers, they know they won the whole fight. They want to run the last round. We didn't do that. You know, I went right to her and gave the crowd a real good show and ended up taking her out in the last round.
Yeah. And then you just returned from Mexico again. That was your 3rd fight in a row where you defeated Susana Vesquez. How'd that go? What do you remember about her? Tough girl, right?
Yeah, she was really tough, too. It was just a different experience this time. Fighting her was, I knew from the beginning I was going to, you know, outskill her, outbox her, but going into the third round, I remember throwing an overhand right, and she put her head down. I hit her right in the top of the head, and I felt like I broke my hand, you know. Luckily I didn't, but, you know, when you're fighting, you don't know that. It just hurt so bad going through those rest of those 7 rounds with a busted hand. It was like screaming murder at me the whole fight. But, you know, I fought her one-handed. I would throw it every once in a while to the body. Kept her off, winning most of the rounds. You know, she threw a lot of punches, but she missed a lot of punches. And, you know, I just kept her off, did what I had to do, and just made sure that I was going to win even if I was hurt.
Yeah. Now, it just so happens that Mariana Juarez is from Mexico. Might you be fighting in Mexico to kind of bait her into a fight, super fight at flyweight?
Oh, you know, that was a rematch right there. She's been number 1 for so long. Looks like she's leaving the flyweight division. I just got word today that she was vacating the flyweight title to go up to the, you know, super flyweight. So
She ducking you?
maybe we can. I don't know. You know, I can't say she is. I can't say she isn't. But we've been trying to make this fight for a while, so they knew about it. Yeah. And they knew we wanted it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen. Just keep calling her out. You got anything to say to her, Mariana Juarez?
You know, she vacated the title, and we're gonna go and we're going to take it, and we're going to roll it, and then when we see where everything goes, we're going to go up and take her title too, you know, doesn't matter what weight. If she wants to move up, you know, eventually I'm going to have to move up because these girls at 112 aren't going to want to fight me all over again, you know, but we'll get there.
And you got fans, and you're getting a lot more fans. Anything to say to them?
You know, I just want to say, you know, thank you to all the people who are supporting women's boxing. You know, I really don't want to call it women's boxing because it's just boxing. Mm-hmm. I just like that they're supporting the women that do it. And, you know, just a big thank you to people who are out there reaching out and helping out, my coaches and everyone else, you know, the gym, my family.
Thank you, Ava Knight. It's been a pleasure. Easy to root for, and good luck. We'll keep watching.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks for talking, and we'll do it again later.
And we will keep in contact. Thank you, Ava. And there you have it. IBF Flyweight World Champion, Ava Knight.